we're going to do a double lap. So I'm Scott Watkin BEM. I'm head of engagement here at SeeAbility, and 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 we're delighted to be able to talk about our ListenUp program and our model of how we work in co-production. Summer,
Yes.
can you introduce yourself?
Hello there. My name is Summer Dickens and I have two roles. I am an associate on Scott's Listen Up team and I love what I do on there. And I'm also the chair of the self advocacy group within SeeAbility called Taking Control, which advocates for the voices of the people we support to have their voices heard.
So thank you, Summer. That was brilliant. And apologies, everybody. I was sharing my screen at the same time. I should have waited, but that was my fault. I'm a bit too quick. Um, so we as Rachel says, we'll take questions at the end, but we want to say a massive welcome to you all for joining today, and welcome from us at the Listen Up program. And at the end of this webinar, you can expect to learn about the program and what we do. We so we talk about how we do co-production, but actually it's co-production is about how we work together as a team and how we get involved in things together. So so when we talk about co-production, it's about doing it from the start and to all the way through to the end with the person with lived experience. And but co-production is not a consultation. Lots of organizations and professionals think co-production is all about consultation and only have to involve people in the middle or right at the end. But actually, that is not co-production. That is just consulting people. Okay, so here we go, Summer.
Yep.
So we both introduced ourselves. Okay, um, and as you can see, our handsome faces and pictures and beautiful smiles are on the screen here. Um, and I am absolutely delighted that Summer has joined me to present to you all today because I think Summer has come an absolute long way. Okay, so I just want to talk about some of the listen up highlights from last year that we have done. So we support 8 people we support are associates on on the Listen Up program. And Summer, what do you think about that?
I think we've got a good number of people and we all work really well together as a team to get things done that are given to us to do.
But Summer, do you think sometimes it can be a bit messy for us?
Yes, definitely.
And but we get through it, don't we?
We certainly do.
So Summer, what's the best thing about being on the Listen Up team?
So, the best thing about being on the Listen Up team is getting to lobby governments about topics that not only I'm passionate about, but other people who are in similar situations to me are passionate about.
Absolutely. So one thing we did after um, after we joined forces with others and lobbied for the PIP U-turn in the government and the government's welfare reform plans. Now, we were really nervous about this, weren't we, Summer?
We were, yes.
Because we didn't know how what was going to happen and how that was going to work. Um, so, Summer, how did that make you feel when we were managed to support the government to make that U-turn?
It made me feel very empowered because I was able to help drive a very positive change and to help stop a lot of problems being created for us.
Absolutely. And what kind of things did we do to on social media around the U-turn on PIP and welfare reform plans?
We posted on social media, and I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I do believe we did some blogs around it, didn't we?
We did. I wrote a blog or
Yeah,
two around it, um, talking about our concerns, didn't I,
yes,
Summer?
you did.
Okay. And then the next piece of work we've been doing is we have had a meeting with the Casey Commission for a review on social care and the and the good news of that is that they're going to come out and visit our one of our homes and actually see what we do. But the one thing we're trying to do with the Casey Commission is to challenge them and ask the question of why people with lived experience are not on their not on their review. And that's really, really important to do that we ask those questions because actually the social care system is for all of us. We're all going to end up in it at some point in our lives. And so actually we need to have a social care system that works for people, for the people. Okay. So and and then some people that we support voted in the local elections. We we joined forces with My Vote, My Voice to help ensure people knew and know how to vote. And we provided lots of easy read information and we did voting sessions, registration sessions online and in person. Summer, why is it important that we vote?
It's important that we vote because voting shapes the way we want things to be run, either in this country or in our local area, that could benefit people like us.
Okay, great. And Summer, what did we do as a team?
Some of us wrote blogs about accessible voting. There was lots of social media posts about making sure that people are supported to vote.
Absolutely. And so it's really, really important that we make sure that people with learning disabilities vote. When we had the general election, we we had over we had over 17,000 views on social media um, about how we were supporting our people we support to vote in the general election, and we worked in partnership with Learning Disability England on that, and did lots of and helped write the mini manifesto with LDE. So we really supported LDE in writing that manifesto, and that manifesto went far and wide, and it was really successful. So that's why it's important that you have your voice, your say, and at the time that you need it. So, two associates on the team have joined two research projects. One with NDTI, which is the National Development Team for Inclusion, and the other one was with Skills for Care. And that was all about what the NDTI one was about mobility and accessibility on transport and the different types of transport you people could access. And the skills for care one was all about people coming from hospital back into the community and in their local areas and basically having a good life and what support people needed. Um, Summer,
Yeah,
you interviewed your local MP on the Summertime podcast after he visited the Bradbury Centre this year, didn't you?
I did.
And what was the MP like?
Oh my gosh, he was really kind. He took the time to listen to what I had to say, and he answered any questions that I had. And interviewing him was just really empowering and beneficial for me.
Okay, and what message did he give to people, Summer? What
That
message did he send out to the people we support in the organisation, but also people with learning disabilities across the UK?
if there's the message he gave out was, if there's anything anybody needs from the government, don't hesitate to go to your local MP and ask them.
Absolutely. And so he was talking about why it's important our voices need to be heard, wasn't he?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. So, but also we've been writing blogs, haven't we, using social media and presenting to many other audiences, including learning disability nurses, and being interviewed in the media to get our voices heard. And what do you think about that, Summer? Um, because you've been part of lots of that work, haven't you?
I have. I have taken part in numerous online sessions with um, various universities to teach their trainee learning disability nurses on our positive healthcare experiences and our negative healthcare experiences, and what learning disability nurses could learn from us, the patients.
And Summer, what have they said to us after we've given them the training?
They've said that our sessions have been very beneficial for them, and that they will, when they go into practice, they will put all these considerations into place and listen to the voices of their patients.
Absolutely. So it's really important if we get those opportunities, we grab them with both hands and we really tell them how we need to talk to them and how they need to and how they need to work with us, don't we, Summer?
Definitely.
So the team have written 6 blogs over the last year. and Summer joined the Taking Control group and her local self advocacy group. And Summer, what did that mean to you, being able to be the chair of Taking Control and also going to join your local self advocacy group?
Well, I found both things very empowering because not only am I raising the voices of the people we support in taking control, but joining my local self advocacy group has helped me to speak up for what I need as well as for what others need.
Absolutely. And look at how far you've come, Summer. So we're going to move on now to the next slide, Summer, if that's all right,
It
because we could
is.
talk about you and me all day, okay?
Yeah,
But what I'm trying to demonstrate to you all is that actually it's not me sitting here doing all this work. Okay, it's my team of people, of associates that are doing this work, and we're supporting them to go and do great things. Okay, so here's the team. So th- here is Sue. She's with her local MP, Alex Baker. This is Christine. She's enjoying her life outside. Um, Tamika is taking part in a reference group. Um, and Lucy, um, support is essential to having a good life. Okay, so this is part of my team. We couldn't fit everybody onto the slide, but we also have Matt as well over in 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 the southwest, and he's been out and about trying to have a great life too. So, Summer, we're going to talk a bit about your experiences, okay? So
yeah,
we've talked about we've talked about your experience of work with your local MP, haven't we? Yeah.
yeah.
So Summer, do you want to talk to tell everybody about the our team away day that we did and why that was so important that we worked together?
This is our most recent one.
Yes.
So we got together, us associates, and we had an away day. And during that away day, we discussed what the future plans were for the programme and what we would like to be able to do in that period of time. And it was very important that we worked together because we could all put our collective voices into one project and enhance each other's and our own skills in the areas that we were most interested in and passionate about.
Absolutely. And Summer,
Yeah.
what did I go away and do once you all had told me what you wanted to do?
So you went away and you spoke to the relevant people that you needed to speak to, and then you you've been assigning us different things to do.
Yeah, so I wrote a big program delivery plan. So everyone in my team told me what they wanted to do, what they wanted to see done differently, and how we could do that together. And the one thing I did was I went away and took the job on writing a really ambitious delivery plan, but it's not my delivery plan, it's my team's delivery plan. And and my team are going to see that delivery plan in January because hopefully they'll like it and they'll say, Scott, you've done this perfectly. And they'll say to me, let's go and deliver this. Or they'll tell me, oh, it's absolutely awful. We need to do some changes. So, Summer, how
Yes.
has co-production made a difference to you?
So co-productions made a big difference to me because I'm being part of a collective effort rather than just working on my own with things. And it means that I can hear other people's views, perspectives, and ideas and work with them on it.
Excellent. Okay. And how do you feel now you're part of the program, but you're also taking on the chairing of taking control? What has that done for your confidence?
Wow, it has made my confidence skyrocket because before, when I first joined the program, any aspect of public speaking, and I would be sat there like hunched up, nervous, like, no, thank you, I don't want to do it. But now, since taking on those two roles, I really enjoy it.
And what support have you had to do that, Summer?
So, with the program, I've had support from you, and you've sat down with me and gone through things. We've had short preparation meetings so that I know what to expect and what I need to say, possibly. And with taking control, I have support from two members of uh, two workers from SeeAbility, one who drives me to the meetings, but not only does she drive me to them, she also stands with me and reads any visual material. And if I get stuck trying to explain something, she'll help me.
Absolutely. And it's all about making things accessible to you, isn't it?
Definitely, Scott.
Okay. And I'm really proud to have you as part of my team.
Thank you.
Okay. So, so Summer, we're going to talk to them now, aren't we, about the plans for the next 12 months, aren't we?
Yes.
So we're going to continue to join in and lobbying the efforts of government's plans to review PIP and access to work. So we're going to keep giving them a hard time, aren't we, Summer?
Yes, we are.
And why is that important?
Because the government needs to know what we need and what support we need. And if they make changes that cause problems for us, they need to know not only that it's going to cause problems, but the impact it will have on us.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so we're going to continue to do that work because we see that as really important, even though we're not sure if the government is really listening to us and listening to what we have to say, but we are going to do our best to make them listen. Um, we're going to continue also to lobby the Casey Commission around its government report on how to reform social care. And we're going to make sure that they are making that fit for for everybody, um, and making sure that everyone has a stake in their care and what they need. We are calling for the whole of social care to be reformed. Okay, we want to work with Learning Disability England on challenging for a new national government learning disability strategy. We haven't had one for 16 years, and on from the last one, and with the new NHS 10-year plan only mentions learning disability once, and this is much needed. So we're working as a group, we got a group of people together, and we're working with them, and Learning Disability England are hosting and helping us with that, and we're all working together to see how we can lobby and make that happen. And Rachel is involved in that, and is really and is helping is chairing that meeting, and I think it's going really well. The team is going to continue writing blogs and pieces for the media, providing quotes, continuing to present to audiences, to take part in research, and invite MPs to come out and meet the team in their constituencies, including new MPs from the 2024 election. And Summer, why is that all important that we continue to do that?
Well, it's important because people need people need to be able to get the support they need, and to have the elections in place to shape the government. It's guaranteeing hopefully that support for us.
Absolutely. And there are more local elections coming up in May 2026. So we'll keep supporting people where there are local elections, and we will continue to grow the team, because it's really important that we have that our team has their say, and it's really important that people with learning disabilities have their say on what they want to see changed and see happen differently. So I'd like to say thank you for listening. If you'd like to learn more, you can please get in touch with me. So thank you from me, and thank you from
Thank you from me. Thank you from Summer, for attending today. I've really enjoyed presenting alongside Scott for you all today. So thank you.
so now we'll open it up to questions, and I'll stop sharing my screen.
I think we might have a first question from Grace, who asked, what are you planning to do around access to work?
Oh, so Grace, that's a really important question, because actually we still don't know what access to work plans are, to whether the government are going to scrap access to work, or make it look different. So as soon as we know, we will contribute and get everyone's views within that.
Thanks, Scott. Has
That's
anybody else
okay.
got any questions? Dinesh.
Hello there. Well, first of all, hello Scott, hello Summer. Very nice presentation. It was really, really good. My question I would like to ask is, one thing that was touched earlier on was about the learning disability nurses. Do you plan to do anything more around that?
So we're So I'll answer this, Summer, if that's okay.
That's
The
fine.
an the answer is yes. We plan to do lots more around it. Um, we plan to support to encourage people to s- students to study in learning disability nurse, but equally and also we want to support the learning disability nursing workforce to being able to achieve and to learn from good practice and not make the same mistakes and let people with learning disabilities die earlier.
Thank you. I totally agree. Totally agree.
Great. Thanks, Dinesh.
Thank you.
Kate, I think you've got your hand up next.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, Scott, my concern is the fact that I had a double clinic in Oxford last month actually, and I booked ahead of myself 3 weeks before we doubled the clinic of chaperones. I have a big fear of going into a male-led clinic if I don't know them, not just because of my vulnerability, but because of what happened to me in London when I got attacked at a mainline station on my way coming back from a transplant clinic in London. So I've got that sort of shield very much up against me all the time when I go into a male-led clinic. Now, when I booked chaperones, I expected to get them. I've actually now made contact with the local trust's LD nurses, and they're now saying that they will look in. Why on earth didn't the consultant realise that actually my notes have a red flag on it to say I need a chaperone? Why did they second doubt me? I didn't feel comfortable in there at all.
Okay, so if you've requested a chaperone, you should get a chaperone. That's the first thing, Kate. And I'm sorry to hear that that's happened,
Mm.
okay? So that's one thing. Second thing is they have a duty of care to make sure that they put the reasonable adjustments in place
Mm.
so you're seen to get the right healthcare and to get the healthcare needs that you need. And if you're not getting that, you need to then think about how you take that further and
Yeah.
possibly use advocacy to make that happen. Go on then, go over there, Poppy. Sorry about that. My doggy's being a pain in the bum. Um, so um, so yeah, so and there's I wonder if it's because the NHS and everything's in such a mess at the moment, with the devolution of NHS England going to be made smaller and things, and they're not actually concentrating properly on frontline services.
Okay, cool. Brilliant. Thanks, Scott.
Great. If we go to Steve next, and then there are some questions in the chat.
Hi, Scott. So in Kent and Medway, there's not a lot of people learning difficulty nurses in Kent and Medway, so they're trying to find a way of in training more nurses, and especially in Kent, there's only one disability nurse what covers some hospitals in Kent. So if you're lucky to have one in Canterbury, so it covers Canterbury, Ashford, Thanet. So if you're in a hospital in Thanet, and if there's not a nurse in there, you're in trouble, really. So you need to wait until there's disability nurses in your hospital that day. So unfortunately, again, they're trying to find off more ways of training disability nurses to cover all the areas.
Absolutely, Steve. I think the problem is lots of universities are closing their learning disability nursing courses, and they're not um, because they're not getting the students to go on them. So if they um, put a bursary in place, like the government did do, um, and or supplemented the course, um, so people could do it, then I think you would get higher take up I think you're getting more learning disability nurses. But currently, um, that is a that is an issue, and we need to make sure that there's lots of ways of getting learning disability nurses and for them to get the right training to work with us.
And also, yes, and also BMIX, we're doing the Oliver Magan training, so we're going into like hospitals and other places, and so we can teach nurses and doctors about disabilities and making sure it's never happened again. So that's another big piece of work what we're doing in Kent and Medway, really training the nurses and doctors really on the tiers 1 and 2.
And Steve, that's brilliant that you're doing that. And that means you can identify the gaps and you can lobby for more um more learning disability nurses that way. I think the thing is there's been so many cutbacks over the years, hasn't there? And now we're getting to the stage where actually they can't support the needs of us like they should be, where they have a duty of care to.
Thank you both. We've got a question from Jessie in the chat about if there's a way that to join up campaigning around access to work, because that's something that they're very passionate about and doing work on in Bristol and South Gloucestershire. And so they would appreciate joining forces if they could.
Absolutely, Jesse. Did you get my email address at the end? If you email me, I could arrange a time to have a conversation with you and see how we can work together. We're really up for that. As a program, we already do some work with um Brighton and Hove Speak Out, and 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 we have a good connection there. So very much happy to have those conversations.
Great. And Siobhan's asked, do you have anything more to share on how you've been involved with the Casey Commission?
So all we've done is we've had an initial meeting with the Casey Commission so far in terms of what they're doing, what they're trying to find out, but we're waiting for them now to come out and have a proper meeting with us in one of our homes so we can have a real proper conversation with them. We have we have I know that Learning Disability England have a session next week around the Casey Commission for people with learning disabilities, and I know that they're coming to that session. So it might be good if you can get yourself onto that session, uh, and see and hear more there. I will. Sorry, you don't want to see my diary coming up in the on the screen.
It's okay,
Um,
Scott, you're not sharing anymore.
okay, I forgot that actually. I will. I I wonder if there's if we can how we can push to find out what else we can do to share on the Casey Commission in terms of what they're doing, because they're not, I think at the moment they're only doing consultation and they're not at and they're due a report out, I believe, in January, February time.
Can I tell you where I think things are at for Learn Disability England, Scott, with
absolutely. Help
So
me out.
yeah, so Scott mentioned that there's a session next week, and unfortunately, I can't invite anyone else to it because it's only allowed to be a small session, and we're very full. But what that has told me is that lots of people do want to speak to the Casey Commission, so I've gone back to them today to see if there's going to be some other opportunities for us to have people speak directly to them because it's really important, isn't it, that people get that opportunity. But from that session, we're going to be looking at everything that they've got together so far and giving some feedback on that before they release this first report in January. But from talking to them, it does sound like there's going to be some other opportunities to keep speaking to them. And I know quite a few members have had them go and visit and go and speak to people. So I think there's lots of pockets of conversations, and it's just how we can maybe bring that together and make sure we're all kind of talking about the same things. Um, some of you might have got an update today from Learn Disability England. I don't know if it's out yet or not, but you get in early access if it isn't. I've just put in the chat an update from Sam, who is our CEO, about her conversations she's been having with the KC Commission because she's been to 2 sessions in the last couple of weeks. So that's an update from her on what she's heard. So you can have a look at that if you would like to. And we'll keep you up to date on what happens next week at the meeting as well. We'll share something with everybody. There is also a survey that is open, so if you can't get to meet them in person, they're really up for hearing from you through that survey. So do fill that in if you can. Oh, there was another question and I've lost it because you're all got loads to say in the chat. Where's it gone? I've lost it, but somebody asked, how did your group of associates start, Scott? How did it all come together?
Okay, so the program was born in 2019. Um, I was asked to set it up and make, and I got a promotion within SeeAbility, so my role's a paid role currently, um, and I was asked to sit in our leadership team by our chief executive at SeeAbility, Lisa Hopkins, um, and so I was asked to bring a to produce a program that encourages and supports people we support to have their voice heard, not only within the organisation at SeeAbility, but externally as well. And so I brought all that together and with um and then I had to present that to our senior leadership team, and then we were asked, and then I was asked to go away and deliver it. And actually, we've had more than 8 people on the program. Um, it's more like 16, 17 people that we've had on the program in the past. Um, and each of these people have all gone on to bigger and better things once they've had mentoring and they've been able to feel confident to have their voice heard. So that's how the program began. And we were given a budget, and I was given a budget for it as well at the time. And so the budget has increased year on year, really. And so, whilst it increases year on year, we're able to do bigger and more things. Um,
Great, thanks, Scott. Dinesh, is that a new hand or an old hand?
No, that's a new hand because I put my hand on after I asked
Oh,
my question.
you were great. Well done then for that. Go on, ask your question.
So my other question I want to ask is okay, I know you've set your plan what you want to do next year, Scott, so I totally understand that. One of the other issues that I think we're facing at the moment is the lack of representation within the sort of media, which doesn't really speak about these issues. So I think my question to that, I've got a number of questions here. So my first one would be, how would we kind of try and campaign and try and improve representation so that people with disabilities can kind of speak to someone to speak out more, not just so it's not just heavily relied on self-advocacy groups like. So that'd be my first. I think the other point I also want to ask as well is, because there's been so many kind of scandals in the health sector, with people with disabilities being locked up in psychiatric wards and then having their movements restricted. When people are hearing, and because these headlines are still continually happening, do you worry that this could kind of, not only this could impact the person themselves, but do you kind of sense that there's going to be like people are very scared to just eventually ask for help and go into hospitals?
Okay, so I'll answer the first question first, and then I'll go on to the second one. So I think LDE, and if there's a group of you, and I'm really happy to be part of that. We can all come together to campaign together on the things, and on making sure that people with disabilities are represented, and this is part of what LDE is all about
Right.
in order to make that happen. So that's one thing. The second thing there is that we're happy as a program to work with any other organization that wants to work with us. Okay, so we will work with them. Obviously, I have to think about our resources and how much time we have and what we can do,
Sure.
but we would be more than willing to be part of it. But the things I would say to you all is that actually, what is the impact going to be? What is the what is the value that we'll get out of it, as well as yourselves, and how how will that and how is that going to be achievable for people?
Sure.
Okay, so
Okay.
you need to think about those three things, okay? Because that's what I base my thinking around. And if it doesn't meet my thinking and my team's thinking, I'm I might say, actually, we may not be able to do this currently, but we can continue to have conversations to do that, okay? So
Sure.
the second thing about the health and the scandals, yes, there's too many health scandals going on. It's absolutely shocking that um, that people keep saying lessons will be learnt, and we'll do another investigation and we'll do more reports. But actually, where do those reports go? Okay, and actually, why do they just sit on a shelf and get all dusty, and you'll never see and then never seen again? So actually, what change is actually happening is leader, okay, really doing its job properly? Is it actually um being is it actually being accountable for recording things like people dying earlier, and or is it just a thing that everybody does because they're being told that they got to do it, but nothing changes? Okay, so there's questions you have to ask yourself here. Okay, in terms of how the system needs to change in that way, it is about having a system a health system that health and social care need to talk to each other. Okay, and actually, when people come out of hospital, that in and before they go into hospital, we need to make sure the resources are in place and community teams are skilled enough to stop people going into hospitals and to be able to reduce the, those assessment and treatment units. But whilst we just keep throwing money at transforming care, building the right support, as NHS and the Department of Health and Social Care keep doing, um, uh, we don't actually see any change. We need them to invest in the local communities, teams, and actually listen to what is happening on the ground.
Okay. Thank you for that, Scott. Appreciate that. Thank you.
And I've done loads of work on this over the years, and I continue to do work on it. It drives me mad and it upsets me that we're still in the same place as when I co-chaired the Transforming Care board with the minister.
Hmm. Yeah, no, yeah, it is quite appalling that things are still happening and you still have to be on the panel. So yeah, I totally understand.
Thank you.
Thank you,
I think
Scott. Thank you.
if we take one quick last question from Steve, and then we'll wrap up because we are nearly at 3 o'clock.
If just before we take Steve's question, Rachel,
Yep.
if people have got questions that we haven't answered, okay, uh, I'm really happy for them to be emailed to me, and we're happy to, and I'm happy to respond back. It just might take me a little time to do that.
Great. Thanks, Scott.
Steve.
Yes, right. You read my mind because I was going to keep it as one. Got several points, but I look at the time. Oh, I can't go for my points too long. So yeah. So the main thing is that I think South African groups we need to stick together really because the government's not listening to us anymore. So we need, if we stick together, our voices are getting stronger, and it's not going to be the usual suspect at the meetings. There'll be different people speaking up really because again, when I go to meetings, I get sick and tired of seeing the same old faces, really, with the same old points. Really, yes, it's nice to see at the meeting because it saves us explaining who we are, really. So, but it'd be quite nice to get fresh blood into the meetings with fresh ideas. So, yeah, so that's one of the points. But I've got other points, but as you say, I keep it to that one.
Absolutely, Steve. Thank you. I'd give you a point back is that yes, I'm probably saying that same old things that I'm saying what I said in 2009 when I was the co-national director. Okay, but actually things haven't moved on that much. Things are still the same, and I'm really hungry to make change happen. Okay, and to make this happen, Steve, I think the other thing I would say to you there is let's not, let's not, let's get fresh blood in. Let's get our new leaders in to support things, but also let's support people on the ground to have their voices heard. And self advocacy groups used to be very rivalry, but now that power shift has changed, and everyone seems to be working together more, and we need to be doing that more and more because there's nothing about us without us.
Brilliant. Thank you. Chris, I can see you've got your hand up. I wonder if you might let us wrap up and if we could maybe chat after that, just so everyone else can get away. So thank you so much for coming today, everybody. Thank you to Summer and Scott for sharing their work. Really interesting to hear what's happening at SeeAbility, and I think to see that there's lots of shared issues that everybody wants to work on together, and that's always reassuring, I think. I'm just putting in the chat now the Disability England's Ticket Tailor account, which has got all of our other webinars and sessions on. You'd be very welcome to come and join us at some of them. The next one is our group meeting to talk about the Down Syndrome Act guidance and the Learning Disability England members' response. So if you've got thoughts on that, we would love to have you come and join us. Otherwise, we hope you'll see you something in the new year. I think that's kind of our last thing that we're doing before we head into the holidays. So thank you very much for coming, everybody, and we'll hopefully see you soon. See you later.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rachel. I just wait a minute, shall I?